Yeah, we are live now.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Vijay Bhandari. I'm a Chief Operating Officer of Noesis Capital. Noesis Capital is India leading and the largest hotel investment advisory company, which deal in operator search, contract negotiation, capital raising, buying and selling of hotels, valuation and feasibility study. We established in 2010, and in last 11 years, we have concluded more than 2,000 plus assignment. On the behalf of Noesis Capital, I welcome you all in Hotel Franchise Workshop. Today topic for panel discussion is franchise advantage. In this panel discussion, we're going to have a hotel owner perspective, and we have around four panelists who are the unit franchisee of Indian and international franchise brands. Our first panelist is Akshit Kurani. He's a unit franchisee owner of Regenta Hotel Ahmedabad. Hi, Akshit.
Hi Vijay.
Yeah. Our second panelist is Mr. Prateek Chordia, unit franchisee owner of Hilton Hotel Pimpri. Hi, Prateek.
Hi Vijay, hi.
Yeah. Our second panelist is Mr. Suresh Kumar. He's the honor representative and he's currently a general manager of Ramada Resort Kochi. Hi, Suresh.
Hi, Vijay.
Yeah. And our fourth panelist is Mr. Vishwas Ghai. Vishwas is a unit franchisee owner of Ramada Hotel Dehradun. Hi,
Hello,
Vishwas.
Vijay.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah. To start our panel discussion, my first question is with Akshit. Akshit, what is the secret of your success and growth? Like I remember we signed first franchise deal in 2017. After that, you open a second hotel. Now we sign a third franchise deal in Goa. So in very short span of time, within 3 or 4 years, you are running two successful hotel and third one is opening up. So tell us something about your journey.
Hi Vijay. Thank you for having me here. So the me getting into the hotel industry was not by chance. It was more of having to diversify our existing businesses. In 2014, when I got back to India, we started looking for a hotel. We found a deserted building in center of the town. Now this building was a triangular plot where no one wanted to invest in or no one wanted to buy that property. We saw a vision for a hotel in that property. So we bought it for almost 25% lower than the market value. We converted it into a nice 44-room boutique hotel. We ran it for a year and we sold it to an investor for 2x the amount. The journey start was amazing, right? In 1 year when you can make 2x of your value. After we sold it, we wanted to get to a larger hotel. So there was a 25-year-old hotel called Nest in city center again in Ahmedabad,
Yeah.
uh, where the ARRs used to be 1,200, 1,400 rupees. It was a complete worn down property. We took 8 months to completely revamp the property. We changed even the wiring of the hotel, like the basic wiring of the hotel. We started in 2017 Jan and eventually tied up with Royal Orchid for the same property. Uh, Legenda Central Antarim is a 72-room hotel now. First year of operations, we've done over 79%. Second year, we've done 86%, and last year closing, we did almost 89%. So the
Amazing.
journey has been very good. Royal Orchid, the our journey with Royal Orchid or a franchisee has been very positive overall. We've taken advantages in terms of the regional sales support. We were good in operations. We've created a boutique hotel. We have a Mini Cooper at the hotel. We do a 5 kilometer drop. Small gimmicks like that. So the journey has been good. Now we started a third hotel called Antarim Express, and we are also going to tie up with a brand very soon for that. It's a 51-room hotel, a mixed use development property, uh, where we've spent minimum amount of money in terms of per room basis. So because Ahmedabad is a very competitive market, so a lot of owners, first time hoteliers, the mistake they make is they spend a lot of capital for a 3 4 star property, but the market is very fixed. There is only a limit to what ARRs you can generate. So it is very important you spend the right amount of money, have the right location, and you start the property. You have to think with your head and not with your heart a lot of times. So That has been the third hotel, and now we are doing a lease agreement in Goa, which is a 95-room hotel in Candolim. Now the project is currently on hold because of the COVID scenario, but we will be opening by early next year in that property.
Okay. Uh, Coming to you, Prateek, can you just tell us something about Panchshil Group and for as a real estate company, the hotel? Tell us something about more of a hotel development, and for a group, hotel investment is more of a uh, ROI driven or more of a asset appreciation or a wealth creation?
Hi. Panchshil is basically we are a office development company. We have around 12 to 13 million square feet of office under rentals across Pune.
Yeah.
We are Our hotel business is also based in Pune. We've got about 1,000 rooms across the city. Uh, View Vijay behind making hotels was to have it as a support service within our parks. Because at, when we started building hotels, there weren't actually very good hotels in Pune except at that time what was the Meridian and the Taj Blue Diamond in Pune. So these were the only two hotels when we started, thinking of building hotels. So we went into only primarily the luxury segment, so five-star entry level up to the Ritz Carlton, which opened in October last year. So it was mainly to be a support service to our clients who are there in the IT park, and frequently it also became a wealth creation sort of a business where the asset will always appreciate in the long term.
Okay. So coming to you, Mr. Suresh, like we have,
Right.
hi, you've been working in the hotel management company from a long time. Now, can you tell us as a GM in Ramada, Kochi, as a GM in a corporate managed hotel, what are the changes and challenges you find between the two roles?
Right. I've been in the industry now slightly more than 30 years.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about the journey, how I chose thing. After plus 12, I was not very interested in being on a doctorate or more an engineer. And me and my friend came across this advertisement of IHM.
Okay.
We had a senior who was doing the IHM at that time. We generally called him up because we didn't want to go. 30 years back, every parent wants their son to be a doctor or engineer. That's it. Nothing. There's no scope beyond that. So we get a shot. We did the entrance. We got through. We did 3 years of thing. And luckily for us, at that point of time, Taj was expanding into Kerala. So when on the third year, we had this hotel interviews in the campus. Taj chose four of us because we are basically localized. We are from Kerala, and they're opening the first hotel in Kochi, and so they wanted some local guys. There. So the four of us were chosen, and we started with Taj Malabar. I started with Taj Malabar. I started as assistant manager, and then grew up there till assistant F&B. Then I was shifted off to when it was Taj was slowly acquiring properties, old bungalows, old building. I know they were creating a small chain there in Kerala. And so the second property was this in Kumaragam. So I was put there as a manager operations for. It was just about 16 rooms, 70 rooms. So they didn't want any senior person coming there, and I was already 6, 7 years and as an SNF&B. So they thought, fine, and when you can handle it, and so I went there. I was there for 1.5 years. We had some labor issues. Kerala's known for labor issues, and I had to handle a union problem and stuff. And later I moved on to Taj Madurai, the beautiful property. I was there for 5 years as a family manager. Then I got a break from there when my crew came in and we had a talk, and I was moved in as a manager officer. You can imagine going from deep south to deep North India where I had no clue how to the culture and stuff. But I was in Gwalior for 3 years. I came in as manager of operations for Gwalior. It's an amazing property, Usha Kiran Palace. I was there, just 42 room, all suite kind of a property. I worked there for 3 years and came in as manager operations within 4 5 months because there was a project general manager there. Once he moved out, they stepped me up. I became the GM for there. The property was tough to manage because it was one thing. Gwalior was not known in the map, in the tourist map, and Taj was trying to develop that circuit through Gwalior to Agra, Gwalior to Khajuraho. But Gwalior, unfortunately, there was not much tourist stopover, so we were developing that circuit, and it was tough for the first 2 years. And it was also the property belonged to Mr. Madhavrao Sindhya. He was not at that just now his son looks after Mr. Jyotiraj Sindhya, so it was the owners were very high profile. From there, I moved on to Taj Baroda. Now it was a gateway Baroda when I moved in. That was a slightly larger property, but it was a big shift from a leisure to moving into a completely business-oriented hotel. And we had like there was no liquor there, so parties was challenges. But it was a good. I mean, it was a fantastic exposure for me from moving from all my stint in leisure till then to a completely business-oriented property. I was there for, again, it was under management. Taj always had a management contract, and I was there for 3 years. Then I decided to quit because of personal reasons. I wanted to come back to Kerala, and no opening was there. I quit, and this opportunity with Ramada came up and picked it up, even though it was like kind of a step down for me from a 120 property to, at that time, it was just 40 rooms. But for my personal reasons were much more important. So I had to quit that and came. But it's been, and Ramada Kochi is a completely franchisee model kind of operations. So it was a big shift of, I mean, I had to adjust to that kind of what do you call, thinking. Now the major difference between management contract and the franchisee operations is, I would say the sense of control and the owner has now in a franchisee driven, the owner has almost complete control on the property. That's not possible in a management run property. I mean, you don't have much say in the day-to operations or in a budgetary. I mean, budgetary, of course, they consult the owners, but are the standards and the quality of things, the items decided, you don't have much control over. So expenses can be get beyond thing. So that's the main thing about it. So you have control more in a franchisee property.
Okay. So coming to you, Vishwas, what's make you interested in hotels?
Hotels. I've been fascinated since childhood because hotels was one of our secondary businesses at those times. And obviously, once I came back with my education, I was in Switzerland for a while, 2.5 years with Leon. Shifted to Australia, worked in hotels. More hotels were a passion since I was a child. Maybe so something that is fascinating about something, and then you see, okay, you want to be a hotelier. And then after that, I came back to India in 2016, January, and we had an existing property. We had two more properties, but we said, all right, we'll do something with Hotel Surbhi and start refurbing it. And at that point of time, I say we hardly had any hotels in Dehradun. So there was just 4 points by Sheraton, one Lemon Tree, and Dehradun was one potential market where we looked at. So we started refurbing this hotel, and every month we said, okay, one more floor, and had to get the maps revised at least thrice in 1 year. But we made sure that the property was operational by the end of July 2017, and January 2017 we signed up with Ramada, I think so, through Noesis at that time. And since then, this has become something where there has been a lot of learning and the sense of getting into the hotels and the way you treat people and the kind of challenges you face sometimes. It is sometimes someone who has worked down in the core can understand. So it was always said, you can throw a hotelier out of a hotel, but not a hotel out of a hotelier. So that is something. Well, do everything, but with us, it is at the end of the day, we're going to come and stick to the hotel. Anything but hotel. So that
Okay.
is something what makes me a hotelier, what drives me to be a hotelier sometimes.
Coming to you, Prateek, as a real estate developer, how do you go about finding the right location, building the right product, tying up with the right operator, either on a franchise or management contract, and how you being right as a active owner or an active asset manager? So tell us some, how do we find all these things right? Location, right product, right operator, and being a right owner.
And so that is different for everyone. I can tell you what how we looked at it.
Yeah.
Uh, we picked up certain locations where most of our development was coming. So all our, two, three of our large properties are backed by the IT parks that are there. So JW Marriott was part of a larger development. Ritz Carlton is a part of a larger 2.2 million square feet development. And Courtyard in Hinjewadi was another development that we had. which is has a small IT park next to it. So it was all based on where there is a lot of office business. So location was close to offices and mostly offices that we built. The franchise property that we have, the DoubleTree by Hilton, that property has been there with our family since the last almost 30 years now,
Okay.
and that is also central to the industrial area in close to Pune in Pimpri Chinchwad, which is again backed by a lot of industries and a lot of industrial offices around. So we're right next to Tata Motors, Bajaj Auto, Finolex, these companies that have their large campuses right next to us. So location wise, we've always tried to be in key locations, and it's worked very well for us.
Okay. My next question to all the panelists: what are the 4 or 5 pro and cons about franchising? If you can enlighten, started from Akshit.
Okay. So I think the first thing which a franchise helps you is recognition of the hotel in
Okay.
that specific market. Uh, a lot of time, independent hotels, there is a chaos, right? Like some people recognize them with a concept of branded hotels. Some people recognize them as individual hotels in terms of the companies and contracting. So
Yeah.
there's a clear pool of concepts when you have a brand coming in. Uh, the pros of having a franchise is you have the total finance control of the property. You get to learn from the brand, and you can expand eventually, and it's a very good learning curve for an individual who wants to develop as a hotel vertical. In terms of cons, the biggest con is that your individuality of the hotel. So for example, my hotel was called Antarim, is nowhere, right? So now my hotel is always known as a Regina hotel and not as a Regina Central Antarim comparatively. So your individuality always gets hurt, but that is something you lose out when you want to recognize yourself or a hotel as a brand.
Suresh.
Yeah, right. From I would say one of the biggest con in franchisee, the decision making for the owner. For example, if you want to do a new outlet, introduce something, you really don't have to go through a lot of bureaucratic thing in a management contract. You have to get permissions, they have to send to the corporate approval, the designers come or whatever. I mean, that's a big thing in the fast paced society now and competition. You need to have change things as soon as possible. So the decision making is a big positive, and I would say. On the flip side, the thing is, the owner is not bound by any capex investments. So that can be an issue also, because the owner has at his, I would say, comfort level and finance available. He can do a capex, even though it might be a immediate thing. He might do a franchise because he has the financial
I think his video is frozen. Vishwas,
Yep.
yeah. If you like to
Well,
contribute, what are the pro and cons
yes,
of?
for sure. So obviously, first I would like to continue what Mr. Suresh was saying when it comes
Yeah.
to the capex. By the time you're doing it right, I believe the brand does not have a problem, and it is a great relief. So obviously,
Sure.
there are certain things that are mandatory when you talk about fire escapes, your basic utility of hygiene and safety. Leaving that apart, because everyone has to follow, they teach you how to do these things, and for someone who does not own a brand and from nothing wants to become a hotelier, franchise is one good way to move. And secondly, the flexibility of operating the hotel. Again, you get all the operation supports, the backend support that you require. You get the right guidance, and anytime you can just pop up to them and say, "Boss, this is what I'm facing, and this is what we need." So anything that is there, they go out of the way to help you
Sure.
out, and they're there to guide you. And it is good. It turns you into a better hotelier, I would say, as compared to a managed property where you can't do anything. There are hardly any things that are in your control. So everything
Yeah.
has to be given to the management side, and there's hardly anything in your side. There are some fixed expenses. Same when you come towards the franchise side, you can rotate your funds, you can sort the situation out according to yourself, and obviously it is up to you to what extent can you go to make your hotel one of the best hotels. We do have certain examples in the country. So I think the franchise module is something. And when we call about cons, I don't think so there is any con, because from nowhere to everywhere, this is what a franchise gives you. If I have a brand from Surbhi, no one knew. Maybe in the small town city, 100,000 people know it. But when we talk about, every one of us owning brands, so the entire
Sure.
country somewhere knows, yes, there is this brand located in this location. So
Great.
yes, that is there.
Okay. Pratik, you like to add on this, the pro and cons of franchising?
Sure. So, a couple of things that realized while running a property. So, we took on DoubleTree by Hilton mainly because it was easier to attract talent. There has been a great shortfall in employability of a lot of people starting at a junior level going up to a higher level, and especially when you're a standalone, it
Yeah.
doesn't you cannot generally attract great talent is what we thought at that time. So, having a franchise behind you, it always helps because you've got an international brand plus international booking platforms. So a lot of work becomes easy when you're a standalone as compared to when you're a standalone. Uh, Franchise, another reason why we took on was that in that time in Pune, the rates were really low for almost all managed hotels. And we wanted to position ourselves higher. So that time we really held our ground. We used to have, single digit occupancy we had for the first 4 to 5 months. But what happened after that was when the booking started flowing in, we actually had a grip over the market in terms of pricing also. So I mean, we last year our average rates were around the 6,500, 6,600 rupee mark, which is unheard of in Pune. Very few hotels can achieve that. So for us, that was more important in terms of positioning and in terms of the pricing. I think as a franchisee, we had a lot more control over our prices, which helped our bottom lines in the process.
Great. Coming to you, Akshit, like what are the major factor you look into when you are selecting a brand for franchising?
I think whenever you choose a brand, you have to make sure that it elevates your hotel in terms of recognition, in terms of ARRs, in terms of RevPAR. So, as an individual hotel, if your ARR was 2,500 or 3,000 rupees, you should make sure you choose a brand which at least elevates it to at least 10 to 15% with the same asset. Now, obviously, a brand coming in, your asset needs to be completely in line to what the brand is asking you for it. But with the name of a brand, you obviously have that excess ARR, which you can generate from a specific property. The franchise we generally choose is people who let us have individuality to our property. So none of our properties are very standard based properties, right? In the Regenta Ahmedabad, every floor is a different color. For
True.
example, we have a Mini Cooper where we do 5 kilometer drop. We have Amazon Fire Sticks in the room. So we target a lot of young guest, and that is what I want to live in. That is one of the hotels I want to live in, so that's what I want my guests to experience. So the brand never interferes in terms of doing something out of ordinary. So I think choosing a brand which gives you the right support is also very important.
So if I ask you an add-on question, what
Hmm.
sort of hotels you advise franchise for? What sort of hotels? Like if you have to, like if there is a lot of standalone hotels, so what sort of standalone hotel you advise going franchise for?
So I think any hotel which is in a location which is competitive
Okay.
for sure needs to have a franchise, because uh, as an individual hotel, even if I run it beautifully and have a very good TripAdvisor rating, I'm famous in my local vicinity, right? It's not like a restaurant where you're going to have the same guest coming in. So
Sure.
it is important to tie with a brand for national presence, for national RSO support, for national sales contracts. Like most of my bigger companies, I've targeted locally, but the tie-up has been done nationally by the brand, right?
Sure.
So that is something you need for a good RevPAR of a asset.
Pratik, like if a standalone hotel owner is going for a franchising, what kind of revenue enhancement he can look into it?
Um, so the brand, I mean, the brand takes in terms of what it provides in terms of a higher rate.
Yeah.
You're always paying a fee, so generally it gets set off over there, is what my view is.
Yeah.
But your local negotiated contracts are very important. So if you are negotiating at a higher price, again at the end of the day, you have to do it yourself. It's not going. The brand cannot do everything for you.
Sure.
So you have your sales guys, your general manager going out on the road, getting the best deals possible. Of course, you leverage on the
Branding.
international, the
Yeah, yeah.
national deals as well. But what you can get locally is where I think the real cream in this is. And so when you're choosing a brand, you should, you know, first I think the comfort with the brand is most important. You don't get along with the brand and the the company, it's very difficult to manage whether it is a managed property or a franchise property. So you have to be comfortable with the brand.
Sure. Coming to you, Vishwas, like as a unit franchisee owner, what sort of performance priority you have set up in all the different functions of hotel, be it front office, housekeeping, F&B, and engineering?
Hmm. So, keeping all in one line, I would say obviously they operate separately, but there are three, four different things. For example, for front office, we make sure our grooming, and as whatever we say, in this industry, first impression is the last impression.
Sure.
So everywhere where the guest goes and he takes an impression in the hotel, we want it to be the best. So, for example, the check-in time, as Wyndham says, it has to be 1 to 3 minutes. All right, it is fine. Sometimes it is legal. We take it out. Average 4 minutes is our check-in time. The comfort level when the guest is checking into the hotel, the performance, the grooming of the staff is very important. The way they greet is very important, and obviously same goes for our F&B team. Their timings, their grooming, and the way they deal with the guest. Also, we give a very good leverage to our staff on the purpose of on the prospect of discounting. For example, someone who is there, we have a lot of walk-ins in a restaurant. Our restaurant does well, so we do give that leverage to have those what do we say discounting parts at the any steward or any of our staff members can give that discounts or an opportunity to the guest if he thinks or believes the guest is would be a repeat customer. And what we see is somewhere around
Sure.
we do have a 40% repeat clientele in our F&B part, and same goes with our room divisions part. So more than the infrastructure, we believe in personalized services, and this is how I think so. We have started to get our repeat customers with us, and especially enrolling them with our loyalty programs, with the brand.
Okay. Coming to you, Akshit, like how important is a brand name to tap the corporate booking, RFP business, miles, and the group travel?
I think in terms of we'll start with RFP. In terms of RFP, you need. I think most companies will tie up only with a brand, right? So
Sure.
Samsung, for example, is not going to give an RFP to an individual hotel because then he has to tie up with so many individual hotels in other cities, right? It might as
Sure.
well tie up with Marriott or a Royal Lockett or a Ramada in this case. So it has
Sure.
access to a lot of hotels. In terms of corporate tie-up, it's the same thing. We target a lot of local companies in the
Yeah.
city where we know we get a lot of business being a franchisee. And for the head offices, we contact our RSOs in Royal Lockett or in any other brand in this case, and they help us close the contract in the national level.
Okay.
So it helps a lot in terms of the regular business coming in from the national companies where you could not have your presence in those cities.
Okay.
Uh, in terms of travel agents, again the same thing. These brands have a lot of tie-up with a lot of travel agents all around, and so you get a lot of support locally. So I think in terms of sales, it's a no-brainer. Being in a brand and being an individual, uh,
Sure.
being in a brand obviously helps a lot.
Okay. Prateek, coming to you, like how much contribution come from the brand RSOs and the brand.com on a YTD basis in your hotel?
So brand.com was around 6%,
Okay.
but as Akshit said, it's very easy, to get a foot in the door. It's much easier when you have a brand. So your negotiations also become much easier. The larger companies entertain you. So in those terms, the brand has a much larger effect than what you get only from the brand.
Okay. And how much business you get from the RSOs, with the brand RSOs, regional sales offices?
Hmm, I think around another 2-3%. It's not much.
Not much. Okay.
It's up
The,
to you at the end of the sorry. It's up to you at the end of the day whether to take that business or not. We've got pretty strong local negotiated contracts,
okay.
so we don't have to depend much on that. We depend on them mainly for the weekend business, where it's a little problematic in the industrial area.
Sure, sure. And how the brand loyalty works in your case as well as in Akshit and Mr. Vishwas? That do you get a lot of brand loyalty customers
Yes,
coming?
yes. The brand loyalty does work, I would say, because I would start with the loyalty program and looking at the brand loyalty as well. We began in 2006, 17 and until 2019, and not counting the 2020. We were the highest seller of our reward system, Pan Asia.
Okay,
And what we see and what we have recognized, we at least have a 30% as a repeat customer. So that is
okay,
a very positive sign for us. Obviously, Dehradun being a transit market, so there is a lot of travel and travel again and again that is happening. But choosing one property over other properties, because there are four branded hotels. We have Lemon Tree, we have Four Points, we have Regenta, we have this. What we see that we do get that connect with the guest, and this is actually one of the best loyalty programs that is actually going around at this point of time. So
okay.
yes, it does work. It does work.
So, what all revenue enhancement activity as a franchisee owners you are doing in your hotels? This question is to all panelists. Akshit, Vishwas, Prateek, you can contribute.
Sorry, I
Revenue
think
enhancement activity you are doing in to increase the revenue in your hotel.
So I begin with it. We sell a lot of loyalty programs. Again, the local loyalty programs to
Okay,
pull our local business. Because when you talk about our room occupancy,
yeah,
we are doing good. So, we YTD operate on 88 to 90% occupancy prior the COVID, obviously. And when we talk about our F&B, because we are not a mice-driven business, so
okay,
we need a lot of restaurant movement. We need a lot of small kiddie parties happening, pool parties happening. So we have gone up with a loyalty program where one person buys the loyalty program and then they invite their friends, and obviously we have them to come back again and again. As I said, we do give our staff the leverage or our employees the leverage to connect to the customer in a certain manner where they can offer discounts or push this up, and obviously they do have incentives. But we have seen a jump of at least 30% in our F&B revenue just because of these loyalty programs and the way we push our student kids to promote their food or whatever business that we're doing right now.
okay. So coming to you, Prateek, like now you have 5 to 6 managed hotel and one franchise hotel. So the cost of operation is higher in a managed hotel, or is a higher in a franchise hotel, or is a vice versa is lower in a franchise compared to a managed hotel?
luckily for us, most of our hotels are at par, whether it is franchise or managed.
Okay,
As a group, we don't we have a very good asset management team that makes sure that profitability levels are high across all the properties.
okay,
Even when it comes to holding on to pricing and all, we've been very prudent about it, where we do not allow the prices to drop, even though we have to take a hit for some time,
okay,
just because I mean the hotel is of course supported by a much larger commercial complex. These calls become easier. So overall, our profitability, profitability is at a very healthy level because we hold on to the rates. We don't let them drop the rates. So that way, let it be managed or franchise, our profitability levels are pretty similar.
okay. Coming to you, Vishwas, like what are the activities you are doing to promote the F&B?
Again, what we said, we are too much into the local memberships. When
Okay,
especially it comes for the members, when it comes to F&B, because there's one place, and obviously it helps our room division as well. There was a lot of reference that work because
okay,
only deal on the rack rates. If we have, we excuse me. So we only work the rack rates. There is no bar rate available at that point of time with membership, and also it gives us certain bulk amount. For example, we have 1,100 members and we are charging 10,000 rupees per membership. So
okay,
obviously there is a jump of at least 5 to 6% in the revenue. And obviously when these guys come back to you and you have 1,100 people who will be coming to you throughout the year, so again the revenue does go up. So that is one way we promote our F&B, and we really have to promote it, and we also push it into the IRD services as well. Our
okay,
IRD services does as good as our daily dining services or the fine dining restaurants. So,
Okay.
sometimes we do have that it is on a higher side. So yes, it does work.
Suresh, can you hear me?
Yeah, again, I'm so really apologize for that small issue
Okay,
we had.
not an issue. So, my question to you is that how do you find the good talent and staff in a franchise hotel? Because if you are a part of a managed hotel, there is a corporate office which will always support you. But in franchise hotel, how do you find the good talent, good staff, and what are you doing to develop that talent to improve their productivity?
Right. Now, like I said, management contract is very easy. Your corporate training house, your corporate HR who gives you all the help. But in franchise, the thing is, you have a brand name. Said and done, every franchise you have like their own brand. The brand itself attracts the talent to you.
Sure.
Now, and then of course the issue is in the cities you have your all the other brands, so how do you get the best of it? Now we have a lot of things like we do a lot of promotion on social media like LinkedIn, even Facebook. If there's a vacancy, we promote those. We also take internship, like every we have very good association with a lot of good institutes for a long-term internship, 6 months internship. During the internship, we identify the performers and we retain them. Even if sometimes we don't need it,
Okay.
we will retain that talent if we find it exceptionally good. There might not be a vacancy or there might not be the need for, but anticipating that you will drop and you don't want to lose such a good talent when you identify someone to the competition, so you retain that staff. Now, how do you develop them? Now, the raw we don't have like that we have a lot of online training, but we don't have physical training in franchises. So that's something the owner has to take care. Now, you have to have some kind of a outsourced training system so to develop this stuff. But we have something called a buddy system. Now, most hotels, I'm sure most chains also have it. We attach one senior boy to this raw guy, and he takes him through a 6 month period. So you impart the knowledge, basically become his trainer for that 6 months. So it relieves a lot of pressure and resource. I mean, from getting a trainer from outside and doing the whole thing. Now, how do we do the productivity? We increase the productivity by setting adherence to SOPs. I mean, give in-house knowledge this thing. We also have a lot of incentive programs for the staff. Now, how do you? I mean, yeah, you work for a particular part of salary, but every one of the staff gets almost the same salary, and they all work the same hours. But how do you increase in that given time hours the productivity is by incentivizing them? Instead
Okay.
of sharing the whatever, to an agent or to outside agency, think of giving a 5%, 8% commission on something you can think of. I mean, we have some programs running here, which has been really, really excellent. I mean, the returns have been good, actually.
Okay.
That's my take.
Coming to you, Prateek, like does the your franchise brand help you in annual budgeting? Assist you in annual budgeting?
Yeah, I mean, we've got some support. So someone comes down from the brand guys come down from Singapore.
Yeah.
There is a training session once every year where
Okay.
they help them go through the entire system, update to what is happening new globally.
Sure.
Uh, they are consistently evolving, spending on their R&D and to better themselves as a brand, and in effect better the hotels also. So there is a lot of support from the brand when it comes to uh, just the way the hotel should run
Yeah.
in terms of whatever is happening new globally. And also they of course they help in budgeting. The budget I decide with my team anyway, but they do help in giving certain key markers while budgeting.
Okay. My next question to Akshit, Prateek, and Vishwas: if you get an option to undo what you have negotiated in a franchise contract 3, 4, 5 years back, what are the 2 or 3 clauses which you like to renegotiate with the brand, which you think like if I get an option, I can want to renegotiate? Akshit, you can start from you.
I franchise contracts are very limited and
Yeah.
very concise that way. So there's not a lot of complications in
Okay.
terms of you getting stuck with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Uh, I think one thing sometimes you're scared is that what happens to a brand when the brand itself tries to sell itself out. Or like for example what happened to keys, lemon tree buying, or it happens to many other brands in that case. So I think as an individual hotel, you just need to make sure that whenever someone takes over the brand, you are okay with or kept with. So maybe that is one clause. And maybe with COVID coming, you
Yeah,
can have a clause saying, okay, whenever a drastic event like this
yeah.
happens, there is a renegotiation for that specific tenure, so that we have a better support. So maybe that.
Vishwas, you like to contribute?
I'm good. I think so. Whatever contract we have with the brand is perfectly fine, and I don't find anything that
Okay,
needs to be renegotiated or something else.
okay.
It's fine. I think the company
Anything
is
from
fine.
you, Prateek? Would you think like,
Uh, Renegotiate as in at that time we were the first franchise that was coming in, so
okay,
there was not much of a negotiation over there.
okay,
But I think I would now put my foot down for not sharing F&B revenues, because it's a global thing. F&B revenues are generally not shared in franchise properties. But we'd agreed to that time because there was no other option.
okay. So my last question to all panelists, and now as we are running short of the time, we have next section coming up. So what are the future trends we are seeing in the hotel industry in the development side? What are the future trends we are going to see in hotel industry in a development side? Start from
Okay. So I think now people are going to be very careful in terms of how much money they spend per key for building a room. Then and plus, people hoteliers now have realized that staff you can run hotels at a much economical cost comparatively. So I think in the future people are going to have much better ratios from room to staff ratios. So back of the house will change to an extent. F&B will change to an extent depending on locations, of course. So I
okay.
think post-COVID, people are going to be more conservative in terms of how efficiently they spend their money.
Vishwas, what are the future trends you want to see in the future?
What we see as of talking about the Indian market, still, I think so. We need to incorporate a lot of AI at this point of time, because we don't know when Corona is going away. When this COVID-19 is going to go away, and by the time it is here, uh, as many people we have in the hotel working for us as well as staying, everyone is at risk. So AI would be one thing that is going to, for example, artificial intelligence for checking into the property,
Sure.
by in-room dining, ordering. There could be certain bots who are serving. For example, China is already onto it.
Okay.
I don't know how well the Indian market is going to take it, but I think so. As soon as we reopen, there are going to be a lot of integrations that we are already going ahead with, and obviously they are opera ideas. They've all taken it out now. So that is one thing I think should be considered, keeping everyone's safety first of all in mind, because our industry is somewhere we have the maximum number of interactions happening every day.
Okay.
What is your take? Yeah.
Pratik, what are the future trends you wanted to see in the hotel industry development side?
So there is. I'll answer this in two parts quickly.
Okay.
So in the short term, I feel that again, what Akshit said is absolutely bang on with terms of staffing.
Yeah.
Even when I open again, and that is another advantage with having a franchise. I want to open and
Sure.
run the property at 0.8, 0.85, not at 1.3, 1.2, 1.4 that we were doing.
Sure.
So in that terms, I have more flexibility in terms of training, multi-skilling of the staff, and at the end of the day, the benefit of the profitability also can be passed on to the staff in terms of higher salaries or whatever. I mean, we
Sure.
will take a call a little later on, but I'm pretty bullish on running the property at 0.8, 0.85 soon as we open again.
Okay.
In terms of newer developments in the future, yeah, I mean, will have to be more tech enabled. I think use of real estate itself within the hotel has to be looked at again. It is pretty cut and dry currently globally. So, the smarter designs, maybe more active public areas or different kind of public areas. So these you will start seeing in the post-COVID scenarios. You'll start seeing a lot of innovation in uh, right from check-in to check-out. You will see a lot of innovation in the way the properties run.
Sure. So thank you, panelists. Thanks a lot, Akshit, for your time. Thank you, Vishwas, for your time, and thanks a lot, Prateek, for your time. So we are running short of time, so we have another session opening up, which is we're going to discuss about franchise selection and contract negotiation. So I end the session right here. So I like to thank all the panelists for their time and their uh, support for this panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Vijay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.